here at YouTube. So I was watching a YouTuber and he was talking about when he was little. He was asked, what does he want to be when he grows up? And it's kind of funny because for me it was a similar thing where when I was asked what I want to be when I grow up, I said a filmmaker. So, um, when you said that back in the day, it really wasn't like, it was almost like kind of saying you were going to be an astronaut or you were going to be just something. Let me see if I'm on right here. Oh, it says I'm on. But it wasn't really like a real reality. Um, but nowadays, the guy on YouTube was saying that he told his teacher back in the day that he wanted to be a YouTuber. And the teacher was like, oh, that's cool. So I can imagine you being like an editor back in the edit bay, kind of being out of sight, out of mind. And he kind of laughed it off because he was actually thinking, no, I want to be the director or the star. And then he goes on to say, well, now joke's on you because I have a smaller, successful YouTube channel. I think he has about 13,000 subscribers, something like that. Nothing horrible, nothing crazy, but enough. And I think it's pretty cool that nowadays you really can be a filmmaker on the YouTubes. And that's why I like YouTube so much, because it's opened up the door to what making movies is, how to make movies, the access, the ability to create movies has been completely opened up. Like now anyone can use their phone like I'm using now and create a video. Like it's pretty unbelievable when even 15 years ago you would still need a little. I mean, I guess 15 years ago would be, there was SD cards, but they had just come out. But even 20, 25 years ago, to be like a solo filmmaker at your home or whatever, you have to go buy the camera, you have to buy little mini DV tapes. It was more of a process to be a filmmaker. Now, when you say, I want to be a filmmaker, usually you would actually say, now, I want to be a content creator. Content creator these days is like saying, I want to be a filmmaker. And it's funny now when you ask kids what they want to be when they grow up, a lot of them actually do say YouTuber or content creator. Kind of like kids back in the day would say astronaut. So it's funny that, I don't think necessarily if you were a kid in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and you said, I want to be a filmmaker, that meant you were ahead of the curve or something. But I think it just goes to show that we have this like intrinsic nature to create. And I think movies are the closest art to recreating life, real life, because you're basically broadcasting what life is via your two-dimensional screen. And now that the technology is there, the guy who I watched his YouTube video, he had the last laugh because now he is a filmmaker. He does have his YouTube channel where he actually pays all his bills, he makes money, and it's interesting how the tables have turned. And now, when you say, like, if you're a kid and you say, I want to be a content creator, that actually has like a good amount of validity, and it's not that far off from saying I want to be an electrician, or I want to be a construction worker, or I want to be a teacher, or I want to be a businessman. It's an actual path to succeed in a craft that even 20 years ago was actually a lot more far-fetched. You would have to go to Hollywood. You would have to go to New York. you would have to be getting coffee for 20 years. But now, like, you can really just skip all that and use your phone and record yourself like I'm doing right now and become a star. Now I'm kind of like exaggerating it here, but it's really the barrier has been lowered so much to entry that yes, it can be kind of saturated, but that's not really the point. The point is that now you can really go for what you want to go for. Like we have all the tools now. And I do unfortunately see like the end, but like it is gonna get to the point where potentially the AI thing gets so crazy that you know it's gonna be hard to even know if I'm an AI or I'm a person. So until we get to that point, like I would say just go for it if you have any iota, but it's not even like that in particular. Like say you want to be like a painter or you want to be a creator of something. Now we have the tools to actually do that with computers and just even hard goods and materials. And it's just pretty crazy now that like you can combine the content filmmaker creative thing with that and put them together, and then you can like succeed even if it's your side hustle or something, because the content creator thing, it's just become how we all communicate, consume, produce. It's almost like the medium of the people. So being a filmmaker now is kind of like, should be almost like walking or breathing. Like everyone should have some knowledge of it, because whatever else you're doing, that's only going to help you kind of pursue your personal endeavor by using filmmaking as well. Whereas you used to say, I want to be a filmmaker, that was like you'd want to make a movie like Donnie Darko. I want to make a make a movie, Donnie Darko. Now it's like I want to be a content creator and I'm going to open up products like my AirPods. So even though like the subject matter and the like narrative of creating, and I just wanted to like chime in on how it's super interesting. The guy I was watching, how he was just saying that, when the teacher asked, what do you want to be? And he said, filmmaker. And then the teacher, was like, oh, you'll be an editor in the dark room, like out of sight, out of mind. But he was thinking, no, I want to be the director, I want to be the star. Um, Now that's not even like a far fetched thing to say. And, I went to film school and, oh, you can't hear me? I went to film school and oh, wait, you can't hear me. Oh, there's Mark. Hi, Mark. I wasn't supposed to look at my thing right now, but I'm going to look real quick. Wait, can you guys hear me? Let's see. You can hear me. This guy said I can't hear you. Corn poop. Corn pop. Uh oh. Yes, Mark. Donnie Darko was one of the main reasons I got into filmmaking. And this just short little live stream I wanted to kind of pop on and do with this cool lighting I have going, which I'm really stoked on, was I want to cut out for a second. Oh, cool. Because I put on my AirPods, and the AirPods always want to do this thing where they take over the iPhone, or they take over the iPad, and the AirPods get confused. Um, but I didn't want to ramble on too long here, and this isn't really, unfortunately, a surf talk, but it does have to do with surfing, and I do have my White Bulls Are Not a Crime uh, shirt. But I originally did get into filmmaking for like skateboard movies and some surf stuff, but it was originally skateboard stuff. And then as I went to film school and I got more interested in like creating like an actual movie like Donnie Darko, it's funny how it went full circle, and now actually it's better to create stuff like a skateboard or surf movie than a narrative movie. Like we're actually gonna stop. People don't go to movies as much. The box office sucks. I mean, we all just saw the abomination that is Snow White that did not do very well, and there's too much like build up and too many internet trolls to really have any movie do well now, unless it's like a Lord of the Rings. Like not even they even ruined Lord of the Rings with the Amazon show. So it's like it's kind of gotten to the point now where like narrative filmmaking is not what people want as much. People want to watch like documentary filmmaking. Now, when I was in film school, like documentary filmmaking um, was like much more like a documentary film. It was like a national. This was before Ancient Aliens, before like documentary was even like entertaining. It was almost like watching a PBS show was documentary. But I kind of view YouTube and stuff as documentary filmmaking. So it's interesting how now it's kind of reversed back to, or actually to a new era, because documentary filmmaking has never been like the most popular form of entertainment you watch. I mean, even when movies got created, it was, silent film, sound film, then slowly actually movies were being made. But even when like Citizen Kane got made, they had already figured out the formula, like how to make a movie, like how to have a three-act structure, how to like build up to the climax and then have a resolution. And like a screenplay, there's actually like pages in a screenplay where like something will happen. Like on page 35, the main character will have the second inciting incident right before they enter Dark Night of the Soul time, or like the climax will happen on page 134. Like it's actually super detailed now with how the plot points enter and exit, and people won't even read certain scripts if like you don't have a certain plot point happening on page 13 or something. Um, so marketing is too risky of the movies these days. The family is sick, it's super expensive. Most of the movies coming out just can't justify the expense. Yeah, I super agree. I mean, I love movies. Last movie I saw in theaters was, I mean, it was actually like that Stab in the Dark movie with Dave Rostovich, which that's not even a real movie, but the actual real movie I saw, I mean, I can barely remember. I remember seeing like Titanic. That's how bad it is, and like Saw 1, and yeah, like the going to the movie experience is I can't believe it's still even going on. Um, but I'm rooting for it. But I think that the other point is like it's too expensive to make a movie, and then to have to make the money back via the box office sales. It's kind of like the music industry. It's hard to be a musician now and actually make it without touring, and you end up like Lil Wayne having to tour, which doesn't make any sense. Like Lil Wayne should not have to do anything except sit around and have money poured into his bank account. Lil Wayne shouldn't have to go around playing shows, and it's like it's Lil Wayne. So it's a similar concept where it's like if the biggest artist can't even make a living, how's Joe Schmo, or how's this movie that has 100 cast and crew and costing $300 million? How's it going to work when it only makes 50 million at the box office? Water Gaming says, "Yo, I just busted on some homeless people to make sure they still get their protein. Keep up the good work." Oh no, that's not good, Water Gaming. That's rated R content. You're gonna get me banned from YouTube. That's okay though. Maybe I should delete your comment. I don't know. I guess it's okay. Homeless people. I shouldn't laugh at that. That's not good. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to. I was inspired, I guess is the word, because it was this story from the YouTuber was super interesting because it's kind of how I feel. Where it's like even my channel right now, I mean, I've had it for a while, but like I've only recently been like making money on it, like 2-ish years, and it is cool to like now you can literally make a movie and like make money, and you don't need the movie theater, you don't need the camera assistant, you don't need the actors, you don't need the lights, you don't need nothing anymore. All you need is like yourself and the a camera, your phone that's in your pocket that you have. You don't have to buy a camera. You just use your phone. So you can up the ante and like get gear and get better and have skill. But like as long as you're like, I think they should even teach basic content creation 101 in like preliminary school. Like this shot, like have headroom be pretty good. Like you don't want to have the headroom, way down here. You don't want to have it there. You want to have like nice leading lines, like photography essentially. Composition, just a few little tips, because then it's just one little added skill that you can have in addition to your other crafts for your advertising, marketing, just showing it off. So I think, so, and some people it's funny, they're like naturally good at it, and then some people it's funny, you can tell they have no clue what they're doing, but they'll still have like a big following. But um, it's subtle when someone is doing it well, because it's you don't even really notice it. Like it's kind of like when you edit something, you want the editing to be um like subtextual. You don't want to notice an edit. You don't want to notice when the camera cuts from one shot to another shot and back. And it almost, you just want it be seamless. But when you look at the editing app, you're gonna see like tons of things going on. But when you watch it, you don't want to notice a cut. And there's even little things like you edit on an action. So if I'm moving my hand and there's two cameras, cut from one camera to the other when my hand's moving. If you cut the angle from one angle to the next during a movement, it makes it more seamless to the viewer. But if you cut it before or after the movement, it actually is a little more of a jarring. So there's actually like a good amount of theory to the filmmaking, and that's why I'm like really thankful I went to film school. But again, these days I still wouldn't. I don't know if I'd recommend it or not, but I think it is good for the networking and for the being forced to learn everything and having like a curriculum. But if you can't afford it, like there's just go to YouTube University, like for sure, and you can learn everything you need. But yeah, y'all, just wanted to chime in for a sec about I think it's pretty cool that now we're all allowed to be movie makers and filmmakers due to the good old YouTube. And it's someone else has been saying that, like, even though it seems like it, YouTube will never be saturated. So as long as it's up and running, you already notice it. You find someone new, they'll have 3 million subscribers and like just have their whole life making a living on YouTube. And you're like, I've never even seen or heard of this person. And it's in some crazy small niche. So I think that the niches will keep expanding. And it'll end up just being like kind of like Amazon, where it's you don't foresee Amazon ever becoming saturated, because there'll just be more products and more stuff to buy, and it's like never going to really end unless something just happens. But I just think it's an interesting thing that now we do live in this sweet time where I was able to like have an idea, hit record, I can monitor it right here, and then once I hit end, I'm actually going to have a finished movie on a distribution platform. Like pretty much I just skipped like 100 steps, a whole year, millions of dollars, and hiring 100 people and I did it in 15 minutes as opposed to taking like a year. And so we're in like a super cool time. And Mark says he goes straight to YouTube University for help. He has changed out parts on appliances and on his car from the YouTubes. People are very generous with their knowledge. Yeah, I agree. YouTube's definitely gotten to the point where it's I mean, it's always awesome when you type in some video like how to change my car air conditioning filter, and then some video from Todd McGarry from 17 years ago and has 14 million views, and it's a 3-minute video. that's like that's the best type of YouTube videos, and I think we're going back to that style, or even like this kind of video where it's a talking head. There's no edits. It's not too crazy. It's relatively short, um, but not super edited. It's not like a Mr. Beast video, because now people are actually getting to this point where they want to have some resonance with someone, and someone to listen to, or um, disagree with or agree with, or just kind of like be able to, what's the word, like almost see themselves in the person, kind of like when you're watching a movie and you can put yourselves in the main character's shoes. um it's kind of like that. So like now, instead of Simpsons comes on at 8 p.m. on Sunday, you have your favorite YouTuber come on 8 p.m. on Sunday, and he just yaps it up for 30 minutes, and that's your Sunday entertainment. And you eat your popcorn and watch the YouTuber, and then hit the hay. And it's just kind of funny how it went from this giant kind of industry that was very gated. Like there's a good amount of, I guess it's called nepotism, where it's like the director's son gets the role, or you know it was a large barrier to entry. Like you had to be in the family to know someone. It still is like that, but like now with the solo DIY-ness of what YouTube did, and just how it kind of created this whole new kind of side industry in the entertainment industry to movies, TV. Now, YouTube, like it's super interesting how that guy said he wanted to be a filmmaker, and now that's what he is, and that's what I am, and it's pretty cool, and I'm extremely grateful, because it's I kind of didn't see this coming. Like I didn't really see the whole like content creator thing coming from back in the day. I didn't foresee like the internet becoming this thing where people could like truly have like a voice and like an artistic presence. I don't know why I didn't see it, but I always thought it was still always gonna be like you had to be in Hollywood to make it. So super grateful, and then this kind of wraps up why you know how YouTube let everyone become a filmmaker. And I think it's pretty cool. So, all right, guys, rambling on long enough. The voice starting to go. Thanks for tuning in to another Hero's Journey vertical live stream. You can continue your doom scrolling, Mark. Thank you for stopping by per usual. See if you said anything. And you did not, but Mark, I'll see you again next time. And we have many new videos coming out. Till then.